evening and welcome to the Blueprint Exclusive. I'm Madhavdas G. Now, the Maharashtra government has introduced a revised draft of a special public security bill aimed at curbing quote-unquote left-wing extremist organizations in the assembly today. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has tabled the bill in the ongoing monsoon session of the assembly. Now, this comes the day after State Revenue Minister Chandrashekhar Bawankule has tabled the report of the Joint Select Committee of the bill. The government calls it a vital tool to curb urban Naxalism.
माओवाद याला लेफ्ट विंग एक्स्ट्रीमिझम अशा प्रकारचं नाव दिलेल्या कोर्टातही तेच म्हटलं जातं आणि अशा प्रकारच्या विचाराने प्रेरित होऊन अनेक लोक हे सुरुवातीच्या काळामध्ये बंदुका हातात घेऊन त्या ठिकाणी व्यवस्थेच्या विरुद्ध लढा पण त्याच वेळी याचं दुसरं स्वरूप हे तयार व्हायला सुरुवात झाली ज्यावेळेस ऍक्टिव्ह मिलिटंट्स मिळत नाहीत त्यावेळी पॅसिव्ह मिलिटंट्स तयार करायचे आणि म्हणून यातनं मोठ्या प्रमाणात जनसंघटना ज्यांची नावं पाहिल्यानंतर आपल्याला असं वाटतं की ही लोकशाही वाचवण्याकरता तयार झालेल्या संघटना आहेत पण त्या संघटनांची कारवाई पाहिल्यानंतर ते लोकशाही मानत नाहीत भारताचं संविधान देखील मानत नाहीत.
All right, let's now take a look at some of the provisions of the bill which have sparked concerns, and these are the provisions that we're talking about. There's Section 3, where the government can declare any organization as being unlawful. Now, the confirmation by an advisory board is needed, but emergency bans can effect immediately. Also, of course, we see that offences under Section 14, where all offences are cognizable and non-bailable. This also, of course, is a provision. Therefore, no FIR can be filed without DIG level approval that has to be given. There's also Section 11 and Section 15(7) to 9, where the government can seize property, funds and assets. There's also Section 14, where the complete legal immunity to government action has been given. There's no challenge unless permitted by High Court or Supreme Court. Then there is Section 16, where an organization cannot dissolve on paper alone. Now, if this happens to be a situation where the organization continues to be held liable if members remain active. Opposition parties, however, say that's an attack on civil liberties in a new disguise, a backdoor crackdown on protest and free speech, masked as a security measure. Listen into their reactions.
UAPA and MACOCA like acts already in presence of Maharashtra. Do you think that it is necessary to bring another?
The government is scared of anyone speaking the truth, and this act is about those speaking the truth, and they want to jail those who speak the truth.
ये बिल ला करके सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपोजिशन को डराना है, देश का की जमहूरियत, देश के लोकशाही को खत्म करना है. जिस तरह से अंग्रेज भारतवर्ष में आज़ादी के वक्त भारतवर्ष को आज़ाद करने के लिए जो आंदोलन हो रहा था उनको कुचलने के लिए जिस तरह अंग्रेज कानून ला रहा था इसी तरह कानून ये है.
हमारे नेता भी उस कमेटी में थे, उन्होंने बहुत सारे चेंजेस वहाँ पे बताए हैं. हमको ऐसा पता चल रहा है कि बहुत सारे चेंजेस जो बताए थे उसमें से थोड़े बहुत चेंजेस इस सरकार ने वहाँ पे एक्सेप्ट किए या वो कमेटी ने एक्सेप्ट किए. लेकिन हमारा कहना है इस पे एक दिन में चर्चा नहीं होगी, बहुत दिन इस पे चर्चा करनी होगी.
However, the Deputy Chief Minister has assured that no innocents will be touched and that the bill only aims to crack down on those backing Naxals.
अब नक्सलवाद है, नक्सलवाद को जो सपोर्ट करते हैं वो सपोर्ट करने वाले जो लोग हैं, हम किसी को भी ऐसे अर्बन नक्सल का नाम नहीं दे सकते हैं, लेकिन जो सही में जो अगर नक्सलवाद को मदद करते होंगे और नक्सलवाद को बढ़ावा देने के लिए छुपकर सपोर्ट करते होंगे, कोर्ट में सपोर्ट करते होंगे और जो भी उनको आर्थिक व्यवस्था में सपोर्ट करते होंगे, तो ये जो प्रूव होने के बाद ही तो उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई होगी. ऐसे कोई बेकसूर लोगों पर कार्रवाई नहीं होगी.
Let's go across to Rucha. Rucha, there are several provisions which the opposition has a problem with, but the government says that this is a necessary measure to crack down on those who are providing overground support. While they may not be militants in the sense that they may not have picked up the gun or committed acts of violence, but they are ideologically aligned with those who want to spread violence in the name of ideology.
The Chief Minister has assured today also that no action against innocents will be taken on any circumstances. It will be only the left wing extremist which will be targeted under this act, and this bill is needed for Maharashtra, as there are 8 states which are facing the Naxalism, out of which one is Maharashtra state, and this is not the first state to implement such a law. Kerala, Telangana, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand has already implemented such bill, the Maharashtra Special Public Security Bill, that has now been tabled at the Assembly of Maharashtra. And it is important to curb the growing Naxalism. Now, Chief Minister has highlighted how the Naxalism is getting in control, but the people who are the urban Naxals, who are supporting passively to these organizations, who are providing financial help or who are helping with the hideouts or delivering the procurement and other things,
right,
which are pretending to be helping the poor, helping the raising the voice for constitution, but in fact are working for those Naxalites movements, and to take action against these organizations is very crucial. And while there are Makoka and UAPA like acts already existing, but it is important to dedicatedly take action on these organizations.
All right, Rucha, thanks so much for joining us and getting us all those reactions on the story that's breaking right now. Of course, we are continuing to debate this story as well. Let's take it across to our guest. Advocate Aniket Nikam is with us. He's spokesperson of BJP. We have Sriraj Nair, national spokesperson of VHP. Anish Gawande is national spokesperson of the NCP Sharad Pawar faction. Advocate Jay Shwani is leader of the Shiv Sena UBT. Let me come across to you first, Anish Gawande, and let me begin by asking you, what are the reservations about a bill like this? Because there are similar provisions and similar bills that have been enacted in various states, including Telangana, Chhattisgarh, so on and so forth. If that is the case, then what is the issue with such a bill being passed in Maharashtra? Anish.
Madhav, the very simple problem that we have with this bill is that this is a classic case of kahin pe nigah hai, kahin pe nishana. You have multiple laws that exist currently to tackle Naxalite movements, but this new bill, which claims to target left-wing extremism, is deliberately vague, like so many other provisions brought in by the government over the last 5 years, and is designed to intimidate, threaten and stifle any opposition voices. Today, under this act, which will soon be passed because the government obviously has the numbers it needs in the Maharashtra Assembly, under this act, you have a provision that would arrest lawyers explaining you your rights. You would have provisions that could arrest me, an opposition leader, for speaking on this television debate. You have provisions that could put influencers who are posting videos against national interest in jail. So the reality is that this is yet another move as part of the BJP Shut Up India campaign, which is going to stifle any voices.
Anish, but the provisions that they've given is also that much senior officers would be required and their permission would be required to carry this out. So the possibility of misuse, isn't it really negated then? If a DIG level officer, as opposed to say a sub-inspector or a junior officer, is actually designated for this?
You know, several prominent police officers from the Maharashtra police and the Mumbai police have voiced their concerns around this bill because of the political pressure on the police force, which can make provisions like these ineffective. We've seen time and again, look at the Pune Post case. What happened there? Look at the Badlapur case, where you have the BJP trustees of a school still not being put behind bars. Look at the Vaishnavi Hagawani dowry death case. Unfortunately, the Mumbai police and the Maharashtra police, which are a fighting force, have been manipulated, have been denigrated and have been misused by the government currently. And so the safeguards that exist do not inspire confidence in the opposition.
All right, Anish, stay with us. Let me get in a quick word from Aniket. Aniket, despite the safeguards that the government is talking about, there's still a considerable amount of pressure that is built upon the police by the administration, and therefore the possibility of misuse is extremely high. Civil society voices, lawyers, opposition leaders could all be shut down by the government if this bill is implemented. That's the concern he's expressing. Your response, Aniket?
Madhav, it's completely factually incorrect. I believe probably Anish has not read this bill. Now, before this bill was tabled, there was a committee, a joint committee that was constituted, where leaders from all political parties were present. Deliberations went on for a long time, and thereafter this bill has been tabled after taking into consideration 12,000 suggestions. And this bill has many checks and balances itself. Now, this bill also provides that no organization would be declared unlawful unless it is advised by the advisory board. Now, who would constitute this advisory board? It would have a retired or a serving High Court judge, it would have a district judge, it would have a public prosecutor. Apart from that, senior police officers would be the ones who would investigate a crime. So there are several provisions which provides appropriate checks and balances. Now, as far as their allegation that we are trying to stifle dissent, now Anish is representing a party which is being headed by Mr. Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar, during his tenure, has given us TADA, POTA, MISA. All these preventive detention laws were brought in when he was at the helm of affairs. So they absolutely have no moral ground to speak about dissent or trying to crush any dissent. Because BJP believes in promoting unity, BJP believes in constitution, we believe in the constitution of our country. And therefore this law is being brought into force in order to particularly tackle the menace that we are seeing in respect of the problems that are created by Maoist and the Naxal ideologies. In several states of India, be it Telangana, be it Orissa and other states, West Bengal, we have seen laws like this being brought into force particularly to challenge the menace of Naxalism. And therefore I would submit that before you make any comment on this bill, it is very important that you go through the provisions of this bill. This bill provides all the necessary checks and balances and there is absolutely no scope for its misuse.
Hypocritical
In fact,
for you to be
laws
talking
like
about this,
TADA
Anish Gawande, because similar bills have been brought in by Mr. Sharad Pawar. Quick response.
The simple response I have to this is, despite our suggestions, why has the definition not been changed? You heard Rohit Pawar in the assembly right now. Call it by what it is. Call it Naxalism. Make it a bill against Naxalism. Left-wing extremism throws it open to misuse. Why are you leaving it open to misuse?
Sriraj Nair, you want to respond to that? Left-wing extremism is a very broad phrase. It is prone to misuse. Why should the names not be public safety? If this is against Naxalites, then call it that. That's the name of the bill. That's how it should be, says Anish. What's your response?
Well, Madhav, we wholeheartedly welcome the government's move. And we all know this law has been enacted already in Kerala, which is having a communist government. And this particular draft committee had members from the opposition party also. Now, we all know the kind of urban Naxalites, the way they have been killing left, right and center innocent people in the name of bringing in reforms. So this is a reality. And even in Mumbai, we have seen arrest of people like Govt Gandhi and the Palghar Sadhu Hatyakand, the way the sadhus were killed. These are all a result of directly or indirectly urban Naxalism. So poor innocent people have been killed. Even in Chhattisgarh, if you see ex-chief ministers, the whole lot of Congress ex-ministers and ex-chief ministers, they were killed. So many innocent people have been killed in the name of bringing in reforms. So this bill is very important and we wholeheartedly welcome this bill. I'm very sorry that my friend here, he has not read the draft bill. This bill has been, the draft committee consisted of many members of the opposition committee. So we all have to, in the larger interest of our society, in the larger interest of humanity, in the larger interest of the safety of our citizens, this bill should come in force and we wholeheartedly welcome.
Jayashwani, what is your response? When a communist government can enact a similar bill, then why should it not be there in Maharashtra? At the end of the day, there are serious security concerns which are being addressed by this bill. This is the statement of Sriraj Nair. Your response?
My response is very clear that what mistake has been done by the others, we cannot be justify our mistake by showing their mistake. The whataboutery is the main toolkit of the BJP, that they are always showing the fingers to the other people. See, they are doing, and that's why
But
only
it's not BJP, sir. It is a communist government.
Sir,
It is not a BJP government in Kerala.
Madhav, I told the same thing. I just said that the BJP is showing the fingers to the Kerala government and showing that they are doing, that's why only we are doing. That's an whataboutery, na? I'm saying the same thing.
But it is not BJP states. We are talking about Telangana, we are talking about Chhattisgarh, different states. It's not restricted to any one state.
We are talking about Maharashtra. Why we are opposing the bill in Maharashtra and they are supporting bill that they are doing such kind of a bill and that's why only Maharashtra government is doing. It is their argument. Now, I'm telling the same thing. Number one. Number two, I just read an article 19(1)(b) of the Indian Constitution which says that the right to peacefully assemble and hold public meeting and processions without the arms. And you have a right, fundamental right to make an organization, make an processions. Now the
without arm is a basic word, and with arm, if there is an arms with the mob, you can already also implicate an UAPA or the sedition section or the Makoka, which is already existing in Maharashtra. The thing is that the bill which has been introduced by the Maharashtra government, it is anti-constitutional, which violates the fundamental right of 19(1)(b). Number 3, the basic thing is that I'm just searching from where this basic idea come from, and I see the Public Safety Act 1950. In 1915, when the colonial government is in India, the Britishers has launched the same kind of act in India to destroy the national movements. What the amendments they have, and what kind of amendments in Public Safety Act, these amendment and section 14 and section 15 are almost same.
Okay.
So
okay, it's a repeat of earlier attempts to stop public movements, Aniket, and there's also a concern that in the past, when there have been cases pertaining to urban Naxals, whether we're talking about Bhima Koregaon or others, there have been allegations that perhaps the state powers have been misused, that the police have been misused for political reasons. How do you respond to that charge, Aniket?
See, every law, and this argument is there for every law, that every law has a possibility of it being misused. But when the law is being introduced or when the legislation is being passed, that does not mean that it has been passed to misuse it. Now we have to understand the circumstances under which this has been passed. And this is the experience that we have seen, that several states which are infested with the problem of Maoist or Naxalism have seen that these statutes have done well over there, because it has taken care of all these anti-national propaganda which is sought to be floated in those areas. Now this urban champions of this Naxalite ideas, their entire intent is to destabilize the nation one way or the other. We have seen in Elgar Parishad case also, where manifestos and lot of literature was found where they were trying to destabilize, dethrone the government. There were plots that were being hatched, and all this conspiracy has laid out in the charge sheets that have been filed by the national investigating agencies in these cases. Therefore, the reason to introduce this law in the first place is to tackle with the acute menace of this growing tendency of passively supporting the ideology of Maoist and of Naxalites, and in order to somehow see that we will try and overthrow the government of the day. Now, therefore, it is very important to curb such activities. The law has been floated, but at the same time, this law, as I said earlier, provides for all the necessary checks and balances. Therefore, the possibility of being misused is absolutely none. And they should not be scared or afraid of it, because there is no, I would say, infringement of their freedom of speech, or their dissent is not being trampled.
Just respond to that. This is not a question of freedom of speech. Do you have a problem with those who are supporting Naxals over the ground? They are also those who endorse that ideology, end of the day. This is only against them, says the BJP. Your response?
Madhav, just catch the Naxals and put him, hang him immediately. Shoot them. No one is backing the Naxals.
What about those who help them? What should be done with them?
No, it is about the ecosystem, Jayesh. It is about the ecosystem. The ecosystem that helps them to thrive in such situations. Now we have seen in cases of Elgar Parishad where people were passively, actively supporting Naxal ideas. They were trying to feed into the brains of young people, young Maharashtrians, and that is why the Koregaon Bhima incident happened, the riots happened. Therefore, all has to be kept in mind. It's not just about Naxal who actually intend, who actually indulge into this violence, but it is the ecosystem, Jayesh, which is helping them.
This new law don't have an aim to put the Naxals behind the bar. They wanted to put the common man who is speaking against the government. That is the motive of this law. That is the problem.
It's not common man. Please understand,
put the Naxals behind the bar. It is not the objectionable.
There are two types of crimes. One who actually does the crime, and others who conspire with him to commit that crime. The conspirator is equally responsible as the assailant himself. Therefore, to say that this law doesn't deal with Naxal is wrong.
Okay, Jayesh, let me come in now. Jayesh and Aniket, let me bring in Shiraj Nair. Shiraj Nair, is this a valid concern that in the guise of cracking down of overground workers or urban Naxals, or those who may be providing support to those who believe in violent ideologies, you can end up cracking down on dissent, Shiraj Nair? Is this a valid concern and a valid fear?
Well, Anish, in his beginning, he said, "Kahin pe nigahein, kahin pe nishana." I am saying, "Chor ki dadi mein tinka." This is also a saying. Now, all these years, there are some political parties use this nationalism for their own benefits. Now, where does this nationalism derive their strength? Their ideology is communist ideology, which has been booted out from the world over. And today, these people are struggling in the name of bringing in reforms or bringing equality or sharing the wealth. These urban naxals, they are creating anarchy in the society. They are the people who are promoting violence. They are the people who are responsible in killing so many innocent people. So directly or indirectly supporting this naxalism will be posing a danger to the civilized society of today. So these people should read the bill first. All these things definitely whatever to read. They have not read the bill. What it is going to be coming in force. They have to read it first. This is absolutely, there is no cause for any kind of worry, and there is no cause for any kind of worry for the democratic institution of our country. This is only for the safety and security in the name of bringing in reforms, equality. The killings of innocent people will be stopped, and it is going to help.
Attacking innocents is to prevent the killing of innocents. Respond to that, Anish.
Madhav, let me come in. Every anti-establishment person shall call.
To create a
Anish, please.
Situation in Maharashtra, Srirajji, for an organization that threatened to create a Babri-like situation in Maharashtra and whose leaders should have been in jail right now for the inflammatory statements they made about something as ridiculous as an Aurangzeb grave, it is very rich for you to say, Kiske dadi mein kaun sa tinka. Now, I want to ask, who is an urban Nakshal? Devendra Fadnavis ji says everyone participating in the Bharat Jodo Yatra is an urban Nakshal. Yesterday, Manisha Kayande, Shiv Sena leader, their alliance member, says Varkaris are infiltrated with urban Nakshals. This government is terming anybody as an urban Nakshal. So the reality is, इनके मुताबिक सभी कोई जो government के खिलाफ जाता है वो urban Nakshal बन गया है. So if you don't define urban Nakshal, you don't define left-wing extremism, you're living in La La Land. Your government is a failure on law and order. You've not been able to prevent rapes. You've not been able to prevent sexual assault of minor children. You've not been able to protect law and order. You've not been even able to protect the people who are not speaking Marathi, who you claim to sort of be defending Maharashtra against. So you have not been able to control law and order, and now you want to invent a new law and order problem to hide your absolute and complete incompetence in doing anything about the deteriorating law and order situation in Maharashtra.
Okay.
कौन से urban Nakshal कहाँ घूम रहे हैं? Please दिखा दो.
Shiraz, I respond to that point because this is an attempt to hide the failure of the government is what he is saying. But there is also a point where he says that when you have called people, on certain emotive issues and called the kind of statements that have been given aren't exactly statements that would, be very peaceful in nature. So why should action not be taken in such situations?
I want specific responses. Is everyone participating in the Bharat Jodo Yatra and Urban Nakshal 1? And are there urban Nakshals according to the BJP's alliance partner, the Shiv Sena Eknath?
One second, Anish, that's a question for Sriraj. Let him respond. The question that you asked, let him respond to that.
Well, Anish, why don't you forget that Mr. Kobar Gandhi was arrested from Mumbai itself. Who is Kobar Gandhi? What was he doing in Mumbai? And what kind of... He was a person who was instrumental in creating havoc in many states. So this is a reality. The killing of Palghar Sadhus was also a part of larger conspiracy from the urban Naxals. It is these people who pollute the mind of innocent villagers. And that is the reason innocent sadhus were killed. So many
accused of the Palghar Sadhu case. BJP is accused. Are you saying that BJP is an urban Naxal gang?
That is the reason.
In Palghar.
Well, just one clarification. For the best of my knowledge, Kobar Gandhi was arrested in South Delhi and not from Mumbai. But that's another matter of detail. The larger question is whether this bill will be something that actually protects the national security and the security of the citizens of Maharashtra. Whether it will impinge on civil rights is what the opposition is saying. We will have to see how this entire political debate will play out in coming days. And big breaking news coming in at the moment. In fact, Times Now Impact, we've seen the Union Minister for Women and Child Development come out and express shock on the Dharamstala mass burial story. after Times now broke the story where a former sanitation worker has revealed that he was forced to bury bodies linked to acts of crime over several years. Union Minister of Women and Child Development has expressed shock over the revelation. She's called upon the Karnataka government to act immediately and provide protection to the whistleblower. Listen it.
कि इस तरह की घटना और इतने दिनों से लगातार जैसा देखा कि शायद 1995 से लेके 2014 तक कि इस तरह की घटनाएं होती रही और कानों कान किसी को भनक तक नहीं लगी। ये एक बहुत ही बड़ा विषय है। और दूसरी बात है कि जब ये जानकारी मिली है तो अब सरकार को, कर्नाटका सरकार को इस पर जो जिन्होंने इसकी सूचना दी है, जो जानकारी उन्होंने दी है, तो एक तो उनको सुरक्षा प्रदान करते हुए पूरे घटना की जांच होनी चाहिए, विस्तृत रूप से जांच होनी चाहिए। सरकार स्तर पर हमारा रहेगा कि एक तो इस तरह की घटना के बारे में जब भी कोई कंप्लेन आता है तो उसकी जांच करे, गहन जांच करे, छानबीन करे।
All right, so very significant that Union government has also taken note of that report from on ground over there. Of course, the victims have been crying for justice and their family members as well, demanding justice in this case that has lasted over decades is the allegation. We'll have to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us. For the moment, slipping into a quick break. More news and updates on the other side.